Four players are at Barstool Sports. We are live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My first time ever here. I believe Frankie's been here before. We're at the Barstool Classic. We got, of course, per usual, much to get to. This will be, I think, the first Frankie Rig show in history.
Oh, is it? Well, Trent didn't make it one time, was he? So Lurch was on the one that Trent didn't make. Yeah, this is the first dual show.
Just a gruesome twosome here doing the show.
You used to do a twosome show with Trent before I came about.
It's really weird to think about that just myself and Trent would talk golf for.
What the hell did you guys talk about?
I don't know. It feels like that would be impossible to do now. And we just kind of, I don't know. I guess we riffed off each other and we just spoke about
I would
golf.
like to go back. I'd probably get the anxiety and cringeworthiness to go back and listen to just like the first couple episodes. Even the first couple that I was on, just like, holy fuck, what the hell are we saying?
Dude, we had Ollie Snyder Jans, our first guest ever. We just DM'd him, and we were just asking about like what shampoo he uses and stuff. Because he's got nice hair, and that was pretty much the entire show.
How many episodes have we done? 445th episode right now? Holy shit,
and this is the first time it's just been the two of us.
Yeah.
Weird. What a weird time.
Shout out to the crew for sticking together for 444.
That's a way higher number than I would have thought.
Know.
It's also been sneaky like 5 years. I mean,
we're at the Barstool Classic right now. Shout out Myrtle Beach. This is the 4th year of the Barstool Classic. That was when you said that today during the opening ceremonies. That was like everyone kind of looked around being like, is he sure about that?
This was our 52nd Barstool Classic qualifier that we did today.
Jesus Christ.
So it does feel really bizarre. I mean, last year we did 27 of them. This year we're doing 25. So yeah, the numbers start to get pretty fucking weird. And it all started with me and Trent. For about 2 months, we tried to get Dave to greenlight our podcast, and he just wouldn't listen to it.
It's really the way to get things done at Barstool. You just kind of do it. You just take the shit for years. You took shit for years.
Boondoggle boys.
Lesser men would have just given up, honestly, because he had the full court press on you guys. Dave Portnoy would not let up. Every time you tried to go to an event, every time you tried to come up with an idea, he was right up your ass being like, what is this? Why are you not in the office? Why are you not blogging? Why are you doing this golf stuff? Who the fuck is watching this?
Dude, there was a time, and we talk about anxiety and stress and panic around Dave Portnoy, and nobody knows that better than Frankie Borelli.
Oof.
And there was a time when Trent and I went to TPC Sawgrass to go to Media Day, and Jason Day was just at Media Day, but like we didn't have Jason Day. We weren't doing an interview with Jason Day. We just were there, and we were filming ourselves playing the course because we thought there had to be some future in golf content where people would be interested because they listen to us two idiots just talk about golf all the time.
Oh, someone just made a putt at the Truly Putting Contest. Right behind us. Woo! At Myrtle Beach. He drained the putt. Zaz running around like a maniac.
Wow.
Wait, so what happened? So Jason Day.
So Jason Day's at the Players, and we kind of pinned it as like, dude, we're going down. They invited us down to Media Day. You know, this is probably May of 2017. So we're only a couple months into the podcast. And Jason Day was like the defending champion at the time. So whatever year that would have been. And we go down, and we're like, dude, we're going to film ourselves playing the course. And there's time when Kevin and Dave were doing Barstool Radio live from like 12 to 2. And I remember my phone just started to blow up being like, hey, this is so-and-so with the show. Can you, like, pick up? Might even been, like, you
probably me.
Being like, hey, we're calling you right now. You need to pick up. And me and Trent are just standing there on this golf course about to film ourselves play at TPC Sawgrass. Beautiful sunny day. And we're just getting fucking grilled by Dave. Like, so who's there? And we're like, well, Jason Day's here. He's defending champion. He's like, you're interviewing Jason Day? That's kind of cool. And we're like, no, he's just, like, here. And he's like, what the fuck are you guys doing down there? Why are you not in the office? And that's what led to the Boondoggle Boys, to the point where we basically just panicked, flew back, and this all disrupted into something – within a year of it got so bad that Dave was threatening to golf cuck us by sending Caleb and Roan to the waste management instead of me and Trent.
Dude, it got really bad. Because I remember, obviously liking you guys. I liked golf. I didn't really show any interest to obviously be on the show because I was just Dave's guy. I'm sure all the people that DM me, I was Dave's bitch is what you want me to really say. But, I was the pizza boy, pizza kid. And at the end of the day, like I always wanted you guys to be successful, but I also was Dave's guy. So like, I loved when he would call you guys. Like, being on the radio is like the funniest shit of all time. Like, I'd be I was a producer for that radio show, so I would maybe almost sometimes like say like, hey Dave, like, where are these guys right now? You know what I mean? That's just how I rolled. Like, I'd always be like just kind of poking at him, be like, where's Trent right now? Where's Rick? And I was a piece of shit. But that's like how you had to do that job. That's what Barstool Radio was. And I remember calling that day being like, oh man, these guys are so fucked. And then also in the back of my head being like, fuck, I don't want them to be fucked because then we don't have golf content at Barstool. So it was a bad year.
Dude, it was a bad year. We were at odds, and sometimes, like you said, I mean, that's what it takes, where you got to kind of persevere. We would do at the time when Dave greenlit the show, he said, I'm greenlighting your podcast, but it can't interfere with your actual jobs, which was, you know, Trent and myself blogging from 8 a.m. until 5, 6 p.m. every day. And then we would kind of jump in late at night in that old shit office where there was only like one podcast studio. And obviously, like, Pardon My Take had priority. KFC Radio had priority. There was a million things that had priority. So whenever we could sneak into that little studio that wasn't even soundproof, we would record the podcast like once a week, just myself and Trent. And then we would try to film like golf videos, but it became under such a negative microscope from Dave that every time we would post like a golf video, like there's a chance he would just quote tweet it and shit on it, and then every one of his minions would just shit on us, be like, your stuff sucks. What are you guys doing?
And you can't blame Dave for that because that was the world that we lived in. Like there was no reason to believe that this would take off to be like a massive golf brand with 50 however many events at golf courses and being able to be, you know, sponsored by TaylorMade and all this stuff. There's no way of seeing all that. Like, that's honestly just persevering through all the bullshit that had to happen from the beginning till now. But like, you know, at the time, blogging was king. Like, Dave just wanted everyone to be like kind of built from the same cloth as him, as like crank out 25 blogs a day, and that's how you become a multimillionaire being on the internet. Like, that was the Dave Portnoy recipe. And like, it sort of just changed. And like, I mean, even his life has changed. Like, now he does video more than he does blogging. Like,
dude, it just hurt us that golf is played at beautiful places.
I know that just does hurt
because it's like, oh, they're just out at nice places. I'm in this shit office
because at that
all these
time
clowns.
It was
Fuck
blogging this office. Like, there was no events, so it was like, why are these guys in Miami right now when Dave Portnoy, who's the leader of the company, was sitting in like ice cold, rainy New York City? I remember being there with him, being like, where the fuck is Riggs right now,
dude? And then we would have, you know, like, Trent is obviously as nice and as go with the flow, and I want to make sure Dave and everybody's happy, and I'm very combative and we get defensive. So then Trent and I would have like strategy sessions of like, all right, in 5 minutes we're going to put on Barstool Radio, it sounds like, what are we really going to say? And then we would kind of disagree on what we should say, and then we'd call, and then you know how it is, like, then it just goes off the rails. Like, none of your strategy sessions matter. You just start like sometimes yelling or sometimes apologizing.
Yeah,
you just would get put in the ringer all the time. And so now to look, and it's 5-6 years later, and we've got you, we've got Lurch, we got a whole production team behind us, from Bass to Brennan, we got Zach on social, we got Garrett, who got stolen by graphics, we got Al, we got just a whole team now, and we get to just be out here frolicking around in Myrtle Beach, which we got to talk about. Myrtle Beach, first time ever here. Myrtle Beach is stunning. I'm looking out, so it's about 64 degrees, not a single cloud in the sky. Our hotel, the Grand Dunes Resort that we're staying at, is, I mean, I walked outside and I was just looking at like this little inlet water with grass and sand bunkers behind it and the sun rising and glistening off the water. I was like, all right, Myrtle Beach is fucking awesome. 70 golf courses. I was looking at our little ad copy. There's over 70 golf courses in Myrtle Beach.
Is it true that like for the square footage or square miles, it's got the most golf courses than any other place on the planet? I feel like that was always their tagline.
They call it the golf capital of the world.
Yeah, there's a golf course everywhere you look. When you're flying in here, everywhere you look, left or right, once you come over the water, it's just green golf courses, all, you know, along the what is like the little body of water right there? Is it an inlet?
I said inlet a minute ago, but I don't know if that's correct.
It's a marina.
There is a marina in there, but
all I know is that our hotel looks like something that would be in like Baha Mar. It's a fantastic, huge property with a huge pool overlooking this inlet or marina that has legitimate yachts in it. Like, I've been to like the Bahamas and it looks exactly like that. The fact that this exists in Myrtle Beach is insane. I met a bunch of people last night at the cool bar that we went to, like the Crooked Hammer,
Crooked Brewery,
Crooked Hammer?
Crooked something brewery.
Whatever. I met a bunch of people, a lot of guys that come down here with golf trips, and I met these two guys that come down every single year for the past like 25 years with like 20 guys. They come to Myrtle Beach. They play 10 different golf courses. They do all their different types of matches and Ryder Cup and stuff. It is such a fun place. So you add that plus all of the touristy shit that I love. I mean, tonight we're going to we're going to this place called the Pirate's Voyage. It's right across the street from the hotel, and I heard that it's the greatest show you can ever go to while eating a dinner. There's like seals and people diving into water as you eat like a chicken leg.
This is a Frankie Borelli spot.
Oh my god, dude! As long as it smells like a Disney ride, you know that smell of a Disney ride. I told you guys about the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Speaking of Caribbean, when you say the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, you say Caribbean, right? You never see Pirates of the Caribbean.
Never.
But if you're going on vacation,
Caribbean.
Right?
Why is that?
I don't know.
What about the Royal Caribbean? Is that the
You would say Caribbean.
Nobody says Royal Caribbean.
No, because then you're going to think like Jack Sparrow's going to come and slice your head off.
Which would be kind of sick. You would love that. Golfisgreat.com. So here's what we got going on at Myrtle Beach. You can enter at golfisgreat.com. You can enter to win a golf trip to Myrtle Beach and experience for yourself why Myrtle Beach is the golf capital of the world. All you got to do is go to golfisgreat.com, enter, you can win a trip to Myrtle Beach. And look, Myrtle Beach has everything. I mean, I was looking through there. They got top 100 courses. They got municipal courses. They got courses on the water with ocean views. And then we were at this place, the Barefoot Landing last night was where this crooked whatever was. I mean, it was shocking. It was like this cool courtyard with all kinds of different bars, restaurants. People were on a was it like a gazebo out there? That was that like circular gazebo in the water, and we're having beers. It was perfect weather, cornhole. It's like, holy shit, how are people not coming? How does everybody not come to Myrtle Beach once a year, twice a year, make trips out of it all the time? So big Myrtle Beach guys, we're coming due later this year. We're doing a travel series in Myrtle Beach. So we're obviously going to highlight it a lot more. But I mean, sandy white beaches. They got all kinds of different bars. They've got some other entertainment that I know is quite popular when you go to Myrtle Beach as well, if that's what you're into.
Go-karts.
Their go-kart track I saw yesterday would have blown you away. Did you see it on the way home?
No, you've talked it up.
Dude, it had
like
two bridges.
Yeah, I've got to go to that.
It looked like, it legit looked like an old wooden roller coaster in terms of the like layout, but it was just a full concrete go-kart track.
There's all these places that we go to, and they're golf trips. And like you go to Bandon Dunes, you go to like all these resorts, and you're like, all right, like even Erin Hills, and it's just golf. So you have to love golf, you have to love hanging with the boys, and like that's all you're gonna get. That you come to a place like Myrtle Beach, and it's an adult like playground. There's something to do every single night. And you're not just looking forward to the golf. You're looking forward to all the nightlife. You have bars. You have restaurants. So Greg Norman has like a restaurant called like the Shark's House or some shit like that. It's like there's just everywhere you look, you're like, what is happening? Like, what's happening around here? There's amazing restaurants. There's go-karts. There's Ferris wheels.
I like a good Ferris wheel.
Yeah, they're all over. Water parks. There was a water park that looked insane. Like came over the street.
They got wave runners you can do here. I bet they got wave runners.
They got everything here.
I love wave runners. Jet ski.
PGA Superstore. How insane was that when we went there and they have our merch in there?
I can't believe it's like front and center. It's like has its own display in the middle of the entryway, basically.
I grew up going to stores like that. We all did, like whether it was Golf Galaxy or whatever the other ones were. And now PGA Superstore came into Garden City, or maybe it's Mineola, whatever the town. It's like right in between on Long Island. But when I remember when it first came, everyone was like, dude, this warehouse of golf stuff just came in next to the mall. Like, you guys have to go to this place. I remember walking into the PGA Superstore when I was younger and being like, what the fuck is this place? Like, simulators lining the walls, huge putting greens, and just every single piece of equipment you can possibly think of. And I used to love going in there. Like, it was my favorite place to go ever. And the fact that now when we walk into one, stuff that we work on, like logos that we work on with our merch team, ends up like on racks that people now can go into the store and buy them. Like, it's always been kind of mind-blowing that people buy our stuff on the internet, and now to actually see them in a brick and mortar place.
Browsing and shopping.
I watched this dad FaceTime, whether it was like his daughter or his wife, and he's like, you like this one? I was like, it was the new pink like spring line windbreaker. And she's like, yep, get that one. And then he went over to the pink hoodie. He's like, you like this one? She's like, yep, get that one. He's like, what about Brian? I guess their son. She's like, oh, get the green one and the black one. I mean, the guy spent like $1,000 on Barstool Golf. We watched him put it over his shoulder, get multiple stuff. I'm like, this is insane. I could stand here all day and watch this.
The fact that they have merchandise in there that I've never seen before too. I mean, there's obviously a different appeal, right, to retail versus online stuff that performs, does better in retail. But there were some crew necks in there that I didn't even know we make yesterday. Nope. There were some pants in there from Unreal that had like the little logo that was kind of the same color as the pants, so it was really subtle. Yep. So just all kinds of cool shit in there. That was very surreal that all this stuff is happening. And again, to think that it all came from the beginning of us just slapdicking together a podcast and trying to
Insane.
get through it and not get yelled at. It's pretty wild. Am I correct that we have the Rory McIlroy One Club video coming out tonight? 8
Holy
o'clock
shit.
Eastern Standard Time.
6-iron?
He chose a 6-iron. My favorite part about the Rory video, and we obviously were kind of sucking his dick about the last time and meeting him for the first time and how cool and great he was, how much he delivered, was that we did this one club challenge, which we kind of teased at the end of the last video. We do this one club challenge with Rory, and we had everything. Like, our clubs were all souped up, tied up to our carts. He had his own cart. Plan was to like tee off, film it all, and then we cart down, get out, and like film us in the fairway and all that. And Rory teed off and then grabbed his 6-iron and just started walking down the fairway. It was like, boys, why don't we just walk up? And so then we found ourselves in a moment where we were like, yeah. And we like sprinted over, grabbed our bags, probably left half our shit in the carts, and we are now just walking up as a fivesome with Rory McIlroy up the fairway, and he was just shooting the shit. And this was right before Thanksgiving, so it was right after Tiger had just posted his video of his 3-second swing, and he's like, how about that swing from Tiger? And we're like, Rory is just chopping it up with us right now.
It was one of those moments where I kind of removed myself from my brain and my being, and I almost became the drone that you'll all see tonight in the video. We have a drone shot. Brendan was right behind us just flying. It's one of the most beautifully shot pieces of content that we have. It's all 5 of us walking with no other cameras, no carts. It's just a bunch of guys walking down a fairway, and one of them happens to be Rory McIlroy. And we're all just so engaged in his conversation, and we're all just like giddy and smiling, and like so like I was.
You asked him about his walk as we were walking.
Yeah, I asked him about the walk right before, and I think that's what led to like, all right, let's see it. He even had a story about his bop. We've talked about the way he walks for years. We didn't know if it had something to do with him leveling out the weight of his dick or
big old swinging dick walk.
We didn't know if that had anything to do with the pop, but he tells a story about it. Dude, out here at the Barstool Classic, we're seeing a bunch of people, and the first thing they say is like, the Max Homa video, amazing, obviously. If you haven't watched that, you're insane. It's the best video we've ever put out. And then they say, isn't it insane how good Rory is at explaining from our last video how to gain distance? I was out there on the range. Every single person was trying it. They're like, Frankie, is this what Rory was saying? Just a little bit on the front foot, leaning in and taking that back hip and pulling that pocket in. It's like he made it so simple that everyone now can go out into the range and do it. I don't know that I've ever met anyone that can really relay information that easy.
No, because usually it gets complicated. People start to get into like the full swing numbers and, you know, the angle of attack, and you need to do, and you start thinking like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, just tell it to me like I'm 5 so that I can understand it and actually apply something. And he, for whatever reason, he just spoke about it so confidently and so normally that you could just do it. And he had every one of us in that first video, which hopefully people watch remember. He had every one of us picking up club head and ball head speed.
It's crazy.
Like, every single one of us, and he did it. I mean, he worked with each one of us for a max of 3 minutes or something. I mean, maybe 5 minutes.
And then tonight he finds himself in a weird situation with a 6-iron where he has to like open up the club face and try and like on a downhill slope have to try and chip and all this stuff. It's amazing to watch him work through it. And he was actually nervous at one point. I remember, I don't know if it comes through on the video. I haven't seen the cut yet, but I remember him, like me even asking, like, are you confident in this one? He's like, no, like, cause he's never hitting a 6-iron with an open face like that. So yeah, it's a video to definitely watch tonight. It's crazy that we have another fucking Rory McIlroy video coming out on our YouTube page. The YouTube page is an absolute wagon right now. Every single Tuesday, we're putting out better content than the Tuesday before.
The about 4 seconds into us walking down the fairway, Lurch told Rory that he has another job.
Yeah,
and was like, I miss a lot of stuff because I have this other job at this company, Axon.
He doesn't care.
He's like
looking around, like, you know, I don't know about all this stuff. I have a real job. It's like, dude, like, this is the realest job we've ever had because we're fucking walking with Rory McIlroy. So maybe take this seriously for 1 second. Stop
Rory
talking about your other
like,
shit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Rory thought he was at a fucking Wednesday Pro-Am again, talking about like how cool the new fucking features on the drone at Axon is.
What's your guys' new product you're releasing this week?
Oh, really? Yeah. It's like, dude, he's Rory McIlroy. Does not care about Axon.
People are on your sales team. That's great. So the Rory video, check that out tonight. And then Max Homa. So we do have to address now that it's been a week. You know, spoiler alert. So if you still haven't watched it yet and you're panicking about knowing the result, maybe fast forward through the next 5 minutes. But we lost. It's our first loss to a pro. We had a commanding, I mean, almost embarrassing 4 up through 8 lead. We were still 3 up through 11. And things were just happening. Trent was making putts from off the green. His family showed up. Then he goes another putt from a mile. And then he goes 9-iron to a foot and taps in. So 3 holes in a row, 3 birdies for Trent. Puts us 4 up through 8 to the point where on a couple holes like 9, 10, I was starting to think like, we need to miss some shots on purpose so that this match isn't just brutal. We don't want another Joel Damon match. Like, this the theater and the fact that we could get down to 16, 17, 18, have a huge putt. Like, this guy's getting dominated. This is embarrassing. And then we fucking lost. He just went on a heater. He birdied 9. We got through 10 and 11 with no blood. And then he went birdie, eagle, and he just started making shot. He had the one-legged shot from the fucking bunker.
Which was
and
how
we could
far
just
again?
feel it. He was like 150 or 160.
Well, I think it was like 160-something with 1 foot in the bunker, like taking a baseball swing at it. A swing that he said he's never attempted ever before, where he was nervous that like his MCL was going to like explode. Me and Trent were looking at each other being like, dude, this whole thing that we're doing, everything about this brand just goes down the drain if this guy gets up with a limp from this swing.
Yes.
You cannot hurt Max Homa like before the Players Championship, like playing in a fucking
Like
scramble.
2 weeks before.
Yeah, that just can't happen. So shout out Max. He got our ass. I do remember having that feeling of like, this is going to start getting embarrassing if we beat this guy like 6-4, whatever it might be. Like,
It was over. It wasn't even
it's
a contest.
just
We were
like,
just killing him.
what is happening with this guy? Why can't he just figure out how to fucking like win holes? And then he just did. He found out how to win holes. We found out we found out that we couldn't make putts when it mattered. And we at least we have it ended up in the overtime. So
you know that story of Spieth after he made like the 7 on the 12th hole at Augusta when he had the 5-shot lead, and then he's going next hole, and Greller tells the story that Spieth went to him. It's like, I feel like we're collapsing.
Yeah,
that was like the whole back 9. We are so mentally not tough that we just were like, we're losing it.
Yeah,
like he's gonna win this match. We were like 3 up or 2 up with like 4 to play, and it was just like, man, we're probably not gonna win this match.
No, it was.
We were leaking.
It happened.
We couldn't make anything.
It happened really, really quickly.
Yes. It went from fun and giggling and the crowd, and then the crowd started to turn on us. Like they're all high-fiving us and going nuts. They're emotional about Trent's family connection, and then they started like heckling us on the last.
Yeah, they got mad at one point.
Yeah, we were like, "Fuck you guys! What are you guys doing?"
It got really, really serious, especially with the fans, and I got into it with a couple of guys in the video.
Same. I was like
Arizona
chirping.
Coyotes. A Coyotes fan was chirping me about the Islanders. It was. It got really serious, but Max Homa, he showed it. He showed up as much as we thought he would. He was perfect for the video. His personality. He was perfect for how competitive he was. At the end of the day, just you can't think of a better competitor to play against in that type of video, that scenario. I mean, the 4-man scramble is just an absolute juggernaut of a video. It shows how good these guys actually are. He shot 66 on a course he's never played before.
Never been there before, and he couldn't make anything on the front.
Couldn't make anything on the front. Shot 66. It's like, at the end of the day, man, like if you're not watching that and thinking that these guys are the best fucking golfers on the absolute planet, then you're insane.
Under some pressure too. I mean, I know it's not PGA Tour pressure, clearly, but the entire back 9. I mean, it was intense. There were fans out there. He did not want to lose, and text message from his caddy Joe Griner after that was just like, my guy doesn't quit.
Yeah.
And I were talking about it, and he's like, dude, those guys are so competitive. Like their egos when it comes to golf need to be confident. They need to be confident when they go in week out. So like, if none of them want to lose to you clowns that have a reputation for being like the golf media, well known for being horrible at golf guys, and then to lose to you, there's no way he wanted to lose. So coming down the stretch, turning it on, it got quiet. It got like we weren't really talking to him that much in the back, whereas the front 9 we were all like, oh yeah, this is great, nice swing, you look good, oh yeah, you suck. Back 9 it was very much like staring at each other, not giving each other putts, kind of quiet, and it got heated, and ultimately he won with a birdie on the first playoff hole. You knew he was going to make it.
We had to win on 18. We had a look. He missed the green on 18. We had a look. You're never going to get a drive out of me ever like that ever again. Under the pressure. I mean, it was the furthest drive I've ever hit under pressure in my entire life. We ended up hitting the green. You had an amazing shot up there. It's like we just had to figure out how to get the fucking ball in the hole, and we couldn't even come close. We couldn't even come close.
4 horrible putts.
Oh, you have to close him out there. He gives you a chance like that to end the match, and you have to take it. Once we lost that, I remember driving up to the playoff hole being like, this thing's over.
Yeah, there's no way.
Second time he's seen the course.
That was he said too. He's like, you guys know you're fucked now because I've seen this place, and that was it.
So we got the Rory video out tonight. Shout out to Max Homa. Congratulations. But that one's dead. Go watch it if you haven't watched it yet. It's an amazing video. Go look at fucking Brendan Jones, E-Bug, our producer. Go look at his Twitter. He tweeted out a screenshot of his timeline that he had to edit. It's preposterous. Like the amount of cuts and inserts and music and how much audio that he had to get. I mean, you got to remember he's got 5 things of audio at all times. We're all saying bullshit. You have to go through every single thing that we're saying to find what things are funny. I mean, a 6-hour golf round, it's insane. So he really is he's a workhorse, and he gets this shit done for us. It's amazing. So we've got that. We still have the Bob Does Sports one coming out as well. So it's like these guys don't stop making videos.
I think Scotty Scheffler should be our next target.
Scotty Scheffler for sure.
I think he jives with us. He's into all of our stuff. He's got such a good, easygoing personality about him. He's won twice in the last month, so he's obviously red hot. I think Scotty Scheffler's our next
TaylorMade
target.
guy.
TaylorMade guy. That's right. TaylorMade athlete. I think we should go after Scotty.
Scotty's got to be our next guy.
We should put that into the Twitterverse right now. That we're coming for Scotty.
We need Harry Higgs too.
Yeah, if we're gonna go make that trip down to Texas, we got to play both of them.
We got to go to Texas, and we got to play Harry Higgs and Scotty Scheffler back-to-back days, and we're coming back with 2 victories, or we're coming back with 2 losses, and we got to get back to the drawing board.
I'd love to get Jordan Spieth on that lineup.
Be great. Yeah, let's make that nice Texas sweep.
Swing.
Doc Redman's coming out next week. We got a lot of shit coming out, man. Tonight, Rory McIlroy. Next week, Doc Redman. We attempt a hole-in-one challenge with Doc Redman, and he gets so into it. We went to it was like a 150-yard hole or something like that.
We almost killed Jake Bass.
One of the funniest clips we've gotten on video. That's gonna be like the focal point in the video, and then people are gonna love Doc Redman from that, because you could just see him want to make this hole-in-one so badly. He tries for an hour at trying to make it. We came so close. Some balls were hit because on its way to a hole-in-one, it hit another ball. It was so much fun to be able to try and do that. So that's coming out next Tuesday. We got a lot of shit going on, man.
Speaking of kind of behind the scenes and stuff we've been working on, we've been creating something pretty cool with our friends at Shady Rays. I'm rocking these things right now. We got Shady Rays sunglasses.
The Ventura
that are also Barstool Golf limited edition. They got the B cross tees right there.
Really good logo.
They got the Barstool Golf kind of up at the top right, really tiny script on the lenses. These things are just phenomenal. Shady Rays we've been talking about for a long time. I have a bunch of pair of Shady Rays. One of the best deals, one of the best warranty deals in kind of the whole sunglasses game. The premium Ventura frame, with a matte.
That's something I would do.
Like a latte.
Yeah.
With a matte navy acetate. Is that right? Acetate finish?
Acetate?
Acetate? It's ACETATE. Acetate.
You're asking me?
Ultra premium polarized emerald mirrored lenses. Look, these things are great. I've been wearing them all day today. Okay, they are polarized. You're brightening up the golf course on a really, on a really sunny day. A lot of times you put the sunglasses on, it gets glary, or you can't quite see, or you don't want to hit your swing because your feel's not going to be the same. These brighten everything up and make it easier to see. And they got the really cool branding on them. So you can go to shadyrays.com/barstoolgolf. Be one of the first to get these extremely limited Barstool Golf shades. These are 100% worth the price, and trust us, they will go very fast. They got the great warranty, so if you lose or break your pair of Barstool Golf shades, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. So you can't really beat that. They come in a custom navy Barstool box. It's got the little sun tweet quote on the side there, so you can find that out for yourselves. But anyways, go to shadyrays.com/barstoolgolf. Shady Rays is awesome. They crush it. Great partner of ours.
Now, to put a bow on this Max Homa match, I've got a poem to read. This was a user-submitted poem from a guy named Matt Havesi.
Okay.
Matt Havesi was a guy who reached out to me on Instagram a bunch of times saying, dude, can we actually come to this thing? I'll drive from wherever. He ended up coming to the match, had the time of his life. He was so taken away by the entire experience that he went home and he penned a poem. Now, I'll read this. I don't think it has the same cadence as my usual Dr. Seuss ones.
Yeah,
so
you think the poem kind of sucks?
I don't think it sucks.
Okay.
You'll see that it doesn't flow as much as my 5th grade ones.
Okay, gotcha.
And I've gotten chirped for my cadence, where it's you don't always have to do Dr. Seuss poems.
No, I think you definitely need to do Dr.
You have
Seuss
to
poems.
it has to be the same amount of syllables in the first one, the same amount. But this one kind of gets all over the place. But
you're not Robert Frost. I mean, you're going to be doing keep it pretty elementary.
So he called it 22222. So we got real serious off the the title. Here we go. A poem by Matt Havesi. It's poem time. Play the music. Max Homa and the Foreplay boys arrived that 22nd day. The fans gathered in anticipation for this special palindrome stash display. Stepping nervously up, third to the tee, Frankie gave a mighty whack, only to end up hooking one as far as the eye can see. The game was tied for a few tough holes until Homa lipped a rim. All the fans could do was watch and wonder, could these foreplay dudes actually beat him? I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now one up and coming to a long and difficult pro par 3, it was Trent's time to shine and a drone first to get caught up in a tree. This is better than I thought.
Yeah, okay.
T-Daddy stepped up to a daunting 25-foot putt from off the green. That TP5 seemed to never leave the hole as it trickled in and left the fans screaming one of the greatest sights we've ever seen. Walking to the carts, thanking fans for his putt, confidently holed, made no sense. Walking to the carts, thanking fans for his putt, confidently hold, Trent sees his parents to the right, dressed elegantly in black and Hawkeye gold.
Okay, all right.
He got there at some point.
There, but we did it.
What a moment for everyone to witness. All Max could do was wonder and figure out how to take care of business. Some putts were holed, long drives were struck with that beautiful red shimmer of carbon faces. Fans looked on as Riggs went out and put his short game through the paces. Up and down, all around, we came to 17, all square with Lurch and Frankie flopping. 2 gorgeous shots 6 feet by. At this point, this place was fucking popping. I got the chills. Max, on a severe downslope, looked on with something special. A chip. My goodness, the fans in foreplay nearly all went mental. Onto 18T, Frankie blasting the best of the day. The foreplay guys needed to stick one close, as surely there'd be no other way. Tied with pars through 18, and the fans demanded they must play. Back to one we go again to see what may come of all this extraordinary play. Riggs the closest to holing birdie, but it slightly broke away. Max steps up, rolls his putt from a mere 10 feet. It trickles in, and fans respectfully cheer for this pro of pros who won that day.
Wow.
You know what, dude?
It was good.
I was fucking shitting on this guy's thing in the beginning. You know why? Mainly because I can't read. Especially in these DMs where it's like
you kind of brought it there though.
There's 3 words to every sentence, so it's all fucking spaced out.
Well,
but
also
listen,
his poem is at the mercy of your reading.
Yes, it is.
So
Matt, I hope I did you justice. That was a pretty damn good poem, man, and I think he really encapsulated what happened that day.
That one I think was a little more technical than a lot of yours.
Yeah, probably.
He had some I bet you went through that. That was not an accident. It just came about.
Yeah, no,
that was good.
Sure.
Wow.
So yeah, Matt Havesi, shout out to Matt. I know he's a big fan. This is gonna make his day. He messages me every day to read that poem, and I'm glad I did.
Me too. Now, did he send that poem before the video was published or after?
He sent it before the video was published.
So he remembered all that shit.
He was probably writing. Yeah, he sent it way before the video because he's like, "Hey, dude, would love for you to read this on the podcast." He sent it the next day, and he's like, "I would love for you to read it." I'm like, "Hey, I'm gonna wait until the video is published and everyone knows." The video got published, and he goes, "Hey, when are you gonna read that poem?" I said, "Why don't we wait a week?" So today was the day. Matt, there's your poem. Thank you for being a huge fan. Thank you for writing that amazing poem.
I was in the video. I watched the video. I don't remember that many things from the match. That was great. Incredible.
The
drone he had me
crashing.
taking notes in real time.
Yeah, he had to have been.
Wow. Well done.
Well done is right.
All right. We got Barstool Classic. Like I mentioned, Barstool Classic has launched. We're here in Myrtle Beach. We're in Tampa at the Copperhead course next week, a week from Monday, a week from today when we're recording. We will be at the Copperhead course at Innsbruck, where they just had the Valspar Championship. Sam Burns, who's a friend of the show, friend of the program, big pizza guy. I feel like when he was in New York, he was all kinds of asking for racks and going to Dave's favorite spots and eating with Scheffler and the whole crew. Back-to-back wins of the Valspar. He made like a 30 or 40, I can't remember how far it was, foot bomb in the playoff to get the win. JT was right there. JT, it feels like, could break through at any moment and just take off. He came up one shot short, clearly was like devastated, said he could have won the tournament. He, at the Players' Championship, was on the wrong side of the draw, had that unbelievable round that everybody was going crazy for. So I can't a little bit. Does it a little bit feel like someone needs to break out? We had a lot of it doesn't feel like Scheffler won a couple events within a few week time, but then it's like Rahm is number 1, and Morikawa, it feels like some weeks he's clearly the best player in the world, and like Patrick Cantlay went on that run at the end of last year. JT's clearly been JT for 5 or 6 years out there. Like, it feels like there's just a lot of guys, nobody's grabbing the throne.
We need another one of those Brooks Koepka those runs where it's like back-to-back U.S. Opens, and you know what I mean.
It's kind of Game of Thrones of PGA Tour right now.
It is. No one's really taking that stance of like, holy shit, this guy's on a miracle run right now. Rahm did it with just his style of play and like finishing top 5 and top 10s last year
all the time.
Just he was playing out of his mind, but that's not as sexy as like winning every week or like coming out and winning multiple huge tournaments. So at the end of the day, yeah, we do need a breakout guy, but I mean, there's no better time for golf right now where any week a top guy can win. Which is what we said this last week. Why, you know, when there was all that rumor about Rahm's not going to stop playing until he passes Tiger, like, I just don't know how that's going to be physically possible for anyone to ever do that ever again. Number one, because you're not Tiger Woods. He's like literally been crafted by Zeus himself. Mm-hmm. And secondly, like any given week, you're telling me you're just going to beat Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa and fucking Scotty Scheffler, and like it's crazy. The talent is fucking insane.
So I'm going to kind of marry from the gallery and this little talking points right here. But one of the guys, Miles, sent us from the gallery. That was a good question. He said Tiger Woods won 14 of his 15 majors in the 11 years from 97 to 2008. And this time his main competitors were Phil, Ernie, VJ, etc. If Tiger's career started in 2011, how many majors would he have today in 2022, which is an 11-year period during the time of the Rorys, the Dustins, the Brookses, and those guys? And it is a fascinating concept. And I remember that, you know, whenever you get into these debates about Tiger and his run, is it that Tiger was so unbelievably dominant, or was it part of that because like the guys that he was going against weren't as, you know, it's like a chicken and the egg. Like which one was more suppressed because Tiger was good, or was Tiger as good because he didn't have guys that could break through? Now you look like Phil, though, has 6 major championships. It's not like Phil has none. He's got 45 PGA Tour wins.
Right.
So he was able to do that throughout all, you know, that dominant stretch of Tiger Woods. So I think the easy answer is like, man, golf's so much deeper now. There's so many good players. They're all athletes. They're all doing the Tiger Woods model. They all were inspired by Tiger, and instead of maybe playing basketball or playing tennis or playing baseball or whatever else, they're playing golf now, and therefore they're going to be better. So Tiger Woods wouldn't have as many. I don't know that I'm gonna say that. Because when Tiger did come back in 2018, 2019, when he won the Masters, when he won the Tour Championship, he won the Zozo. Like there was a stretch in there where he got to top, like I think he was like 6th in the world.
Yeah. And
he had 3 wins, and nobody else had more than 2 over that like 2-year stretch. So he clearly, with his fucking back situation and all the problems and all the scar tissue from the last 10 years and everything that he'd been through, from scandals to injuries to people saying he's got no shot, he came back and was the best player basically in the world again and won
like
the
43
Masters.
or however old he was.
Yeah,
like,
it's fucking crazy. And his body was just pathetic and beat down. He had to get up like 6 hours before every tee time to go through all kinds of crazy shit to prepare to play golf. And he still was able to go out there and dominate. So I'm going to say I think it would be pretty similar.
I think it'd be similar just because of who Tiger is. I think if you take any other guy from that era, I think like Phil, if he started later, I think he would see a dramatic change.
You think he'd win a lot less?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think so. I just think Tiger's that guy that writes his own history. You can't compare him to anyone else. I think Phil's an all-time great. He's a Hall of Famer. Like you said, the numbers are insane of how many times he's won. But I just think if he was in the mix with this new crew, starting out as a new golfer, there's no chance he's rattling off 45 wins. And I know that might not be fair, but like it's just my gut feeling. Now Tiger probably doesn't get as many, I don't think. It's just there's way too much parity. It's just insane.
It's probably true. I think that's right. And it's, you know, there were some really good players that Tiger was playing. I mean, Ernie Els is absolutely sick. Vijay Singh was absolutely sick. Phil, clearly, we talked a lot about him. There are other guys that came up that really like challenged Tiger through those stretches. Like Chris DeMarco was in the mix all the time. It didn't really like back down. But when you look at the greatness versus, you know, a lot of what these guys are, how far they're hitting it, how
it's also the technology too. Like look at the worst guy on tour could absolutely dominate any given week because he's got the talent. And then also like with their clubs and the way that they're able to nip these wedges, and like it's just insane how low they can go. It's just different than back in like the 90s and the early 2000s where like guys were shaping the ball. Like if you had that skill, you had to possess like an otherworldly skill to be able to move the ball. That's why like Jack Nicklaus, you know, people make the argument that he's the greatest golfer of all time because he did what he did with less, you know, equipment and clubs, and you know it was more difficult because like you had to possess an extra skill that these guys don't have to.
That is true. I do think, yeah, that's a good point. The equipment's a huge part of that discussion, and I do think it would be harder for someone to go and dominate, and we were just the whole beginning of the discussion was how nobody can really dominate.
Yeah.
And Tiger talks a lot about how he wishes they would go back to some of the older stuff because the better the equipment is, it neutralizes everybody.
Yep.
I mean, it's like if you and I can go out and hit TaylorMade stealth drivers pretty damn straight and far, then clearly the best players in the world. Now there's like 50 of them instead of there being 5 of them.
That's why the best golfers in the world like the tough golf courses and tough conditions, because they know it eliminates all the guys that on a perfect day, more guys are eligible to try and win that week, as opposed to like the best players know how to get through the wind and flight the ball and maneuver the ball around in the wind. So it's an interesting discussion. I think Tiger makes it through no matter what, because he's Tiger fucking Woods. Just like Michael Jordan would just dominate the NBA in 2050 if he grew up in that era. I mean, we're all in agreement on that. Just
watching Last Dance. Jake Bass is such a LeBron guy.
You don't think Michael Jordan would dominate the NBA?
Jake Bass said he would dominate, but he wouldn't be as successful winning.
But what if he doesn't have a mic, but like what if he had his team? What if Scottie Pippen grew up too?
I think if like Dr. J was wearing not Converse tennis shoes, he would have been more dominant.
Jake said if Dr. J was not wearing Converse tennis shoes, he would have been more dominant than Michael Jordan?
No, but just like in general.
Oh, okay. In general, he'd be more dominant. Equipment stuff.
It's always tough because you can never find out, and you could argue it, and they argue this about like, oh, was Bobby Jones the best player to actually play the game of golf? But he was in such a different time with such different equipment, and like the amateur being the amateur was way different. If he could actually go pro and focus, and that was like money in that, so people can debate that in all kinds of different sports forever. I mean, Michael Jordan was just so fucking clutch. He was just so clutch. He performed his best when it mattered the most. And that was like what Tiger Woods and what Jack Nicklaus separates them, is just being able to actually perform at that high of a level when it actually matters most. When most other people fall off or never, or at least like stay the same, being able to just ramp it up to that next level. We're talking about equipment. We got to talk about TaylorMade golf. I've been watching people drain putts out here with the spiders. I was customizing my new GT spider the other day, trying to get St. Louis Blues colors. The customization stuff in golf and on TaylorMade Golf's website, it's so fun to play around with that.
Yeah, and the website is so amazing. Like the way as you go through your customization, it actually changes the image of what it's going to look like
instantly. And
you can change like the outer rim of the weight. You can change the line. You can change how long the line is going to be, your sight line. You can change like every aspect of it. The shaft, I did a murdered out black shaft into a black weighted putter with orange and blue Islander colors.
I saw that one.
It's gonna be fucking amazing.
I was looking at the spreadsheet at your choices.
Oh my god, I can't wait. There's so many customizations. Go check it out. Just play around with it on your phone. You're gonna fall in love with it. I did it for like 3 hours laying in bed, just seeing how cool I can make it. The TaylorMade just does it right.
And then the driver, 20 years in the making. The carbon wood. We're in the carbon wood age now. We're out of all the metal wood. We're out of that. We are into the carbon wood age, and it is the TaylorMade stealth driver. Everybody's using it. Guys that aren't even contracted by TaylorMade Golf are using it. Yep. Scotty Scheffler is using it. I watched multiple players when I was walking inside the ropes, hanging, chit-chatting, being around, being a range rat. At the Phoenix Open, I was watching guys use it that aren't even contracted. And then the guys that are, Tiger Woods, for example, he put it in play right away when he played in the Father-Son in December. Rory McIlroy, we watched him in that video. Big star in the game of golf. He hit it like 3,000 yards in front of us with the TaylorMade Stealth. So make sure you check it out. Make sure you go to TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool. Check out TaylorMade and Barstool golf gear today. They got a lot of good stuff in there. From
balls too.
Golf balls, the new Tour Response with the strip on them.
The stripe Tour Response balls. I had a buddy message me the other day. He's like, dude, what ball should I buy? Do you like the TP5X or the TP5? I said, I like the TP5, but give these new Tour Response balls a chance. Like if you're just going to buy a bunch right now, if you're going to PGA Superstore, if you're going online and you're hitting /Barstool and you're trying to get all the deals and all that stuff, do this. Make sure you get a box of Tour Response stripe balls and try them out. When you're putting, you've never seen a golf ball like this.
Never.
Some way they design this. It's a thick yellow ball. You can say something about how it looks and maybe it's not the best looking thing or what. I'm telling you guys right now, you have to try this out. Go to a store and get these balls, try them out, because when you putt, it looks like it's impossible to miss the hole. Like
possible.
The yellow line just like perfectly tracks towards wherever your target is. So like you line up your target, you give it a solid stroke, and I'm telling you, you see it roll in. So like as you practice with this ball, you're gonna watch it go over and
You
over.
learn a
and
lot
over
about your
again.
stroke too. If you're
Oh
like
my God.
cutting it a little bit or drawing a little
It'll
bit.
wobble if you hit it the
right.
wrong way. So like it makes you want to hit straight putts right on the line. Dude, I'm telling you right now, when we did these at the Kingdom and like they introduced them to us, I was like, these are kind of like weird looking and I'm probably not going to put these in play. I put them in play and I fucking putt lights out. It was the best putting experience I've ever had. Tour Response Stripe, go try them out. They're very affordable and they're definitely worth it.
Had a couple friends. Fat Perez came and played golf with us in the Pioneers this last weekend. Who that guy's just the best. Can't wait for people to see
Cartoon
the whole video.
character.
And Hanky Panky, who's obviously our Aaron Hills guy, who caddied Trent to one of the best rounds of his life, came in and he through 5 rounds of golf, he kept the same ball the entire time, and it was a Tour Response ball.
Oh.
And dude, you could barely even tell he'd been using it for 5 straight rounds of golf. It like had a few scuffs from hitting like a tree.
Yep.
And other than that, it was just in great shape, performing the whole time. He's like, yeah, I used the same Tour Response the entire trip. I didn't lose it the whole time.
We spent a lot of money in golf on equipment. You know, you got your drivers, you got your new, irons, and balls they are expensive. There's no denying it, but they're amazing quality. And you're not going to get away from the price unless you go with the Tour Response level. And I'm telling you right now, out of all the companies out there that make an amateur ball, right, like a lower level, lower tiered ball for that lower price, I'm telling you the Tour Response is the best one that I've ever seen.
It's awesome. TaylorMadeGolf.com/Barstool. Go check out Barstool and TaylorMade Golf today, please. Okay, Greg Norman. So Greg Norman has been making the rounds in the last week. He's done a couple different podcasts, both podcasts that we are friends with. Gary Williams, 5 Clubs podcast, and then he was on with Colt and Sleaze on Subpar.
Yep.
We actually were talking about, like, we want Greg Norman, right?
I haven't even told you guys. He's scheduled to come on, but he's doing some traveling right now. So he is scheduled to come on within a couple weeks.
Now, obviously, there's a lot to take in with the Greg Norman, the Live Golf stuff, the Saudi Golf League. And I saw Colt and Sleaze were getting a little bit of shit for basically softballing a little bit with Greg Norman. And I started thinking about it. And, we love to give Colt shit. And we love to chirp and have a fun little rivalry with those guys. They're great. And I was thinking, like, should Colt be grilling? Do people expect Colt Nose to be grilling Greg Norman on, like, the Saudi regime?
No.
Right? It's like, I get that you could, and it started to make me think, like, should we have him on because, like, if we're not going to grill him, then what's he really going to say? And I was going through some of these quotes on here, and my first instinct was obviously we're going to have Greg Norman on. Like, he's the talk of the town right now. We've had him on before, and he was phenomenal. But there's so much to this backstory and people that is so much deeper and shittier than golf that it becomes a tough conversation. And I did want to kind of defend Colt and Sleaze a little bit, where, like, they're not. Who the fuck thinks that Colt and Sleaze are out there grilling somebody like they're on trial at the Supreme Court? I mean, they're fun golf podcast.
They are a fun golf podcast, and I agreed with you originally off the rip there. By the way, Jake Bass in the middle of this podcast had to just rip and go get a hot dog. Never seen a move like that. Sprinted away. I thought his laptop was dying. He comes over with a hot dog. That's an unbelievable move.
You just wanted to get a hot dog?
No condiments? Mustard. Okay. I would agree with you. If Greg Norman was just sprung onto them and they're like, yeah, we'll interview Greg Norman. He's a golf great. They knew why they were having him on. Like, you're having Greg Norman on because he is advocating for a Saudi regime, like, golf tour. So, like, I agree with you in the sense of, like, they're not expected to ask those questions because they are just a funny golf podcast, but you're not just a funny golf podcast when you have a guy advocating for a Saudi regime. Like, if we have him on.
So then it makes me think, like, should we not have him on?
But if we have him on, we just ask him those questions. Like, to me, I don't.
But I guess ask the question is one thing, but, like, pressing him. Because he's not going to answer at the beginning.
I think you press him. And if he doesn't, he's an asshole. And, like, their live golf thing just, like, sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if he's going to be that shady about it, like, then obviously there's something shady going on.
Because Gary Williams pressed him a little bit, and I love Gary Williams, pressed him a little bit, and he still would get, like, whereas Norman kept making comments like, I'm not going to get political. I'm here to grow the game of golf. The Saudi regime, they really want to kind of grow the game of golf, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not a political guy. I'm a golf guy. That was basically his answer to everything. And so it just makes me think, like, if he's going to come on and clearly say that stuff and not in all address the elephant in the room of, like, dude,
I think you try and address the elephant in the room. I think you get very personal with them. Like, to be honest, I would be like, how do you expect us to try and give our money and time to your new golf tour when you have guys saying, PGA Tour pros that I look up to, Phil Mickelson saying, I know they execute gay people over there, but we need some leverage for the PGA Tour. Like, how are you like a part of something like that?
Are we going to get Frankie Cronkite for this interview?
I might.
Okay. See, I like that. I just didn't know if we had that in us.
I would. Yeah. I mean, if you have like a person, like we all just.
Also, he's got a lot of star power.
Yeah.
Remember when he came into the office?
Yeah.
So I don't want us to get enamored a little bit and then come off like these pussies that didn't address this horrible thing.
It'd be a big interview and that's why I think like Colt, I'm sure that there's some backlash for them not pressing him because like it's a big interview going in. Like that that's going to be the backlash. You can't, and I'm sure they weren't too soft. I have to go listen to it. Like we're like.
No, they actually like address.
Yeah, they
stuff,
addressed it.
Right?
Like,
but again, it's not like there's just not deep pressing. And I guess my takeaway, because my instinct at first was kind of the opposite. I was like, oh yeah, like that's a tough look. Like this is such a horrible thing. Then I was like, who really like? Is that really their? Yeah, I don't know. It's
not their place. But then like, don't put yourself in that place.
Yeah, right.
So like, yeah, we have to make that conscious decision. Like, are we going to go to that place? Because I don't see a negative in going to that place. If Greg Norman never wants to talk to us again, then he never wants to talk to us again. If Greg Norman wants to open our eyes after we press him to like, oh, this is actually what's happening. And it's just like these aren't the worst people, and like this is actually who I'm working with, and it's like not coming from there. Like if the money's not coming from the bad places, and they're not executing 81 people in the last week that from people that have committed crimes in Saudi Arabia.
They did do that. They did.
They literally just did last week that
right.
81 people got fucking executed like publicly. It was insane. It was the largest like last mass execution in like recent history.
Yeah, they like behead people.
They behead people for like stealing and shit. It's crazy. So, yeah, no, it's fucking scary over there. And like, I would just be like. I would definitely press him. I would like put Greg Norman in a weird spot, and they know that we would put him in a weird spot. Like in the email, they're like, "Hey, we'd love to have Greg on the show. Like, do you guys want to wait a couple of weeks until more news comes out of like exactly what we're planning and like where it's all coming from and like who's playing in the events?" We were like, "Sure, let's let things kind of breathe.
Right.
We'll have a little more information. We'll have more things for him to answer and more things to press on, and then we'll attack him."
What I don't like too is that
not attack, but attack the interview.
Yeah, we could attack the interview. That's fine.
Yeah,
we're not attacking the shot.
No.
We'll attack him on the issues.
I can't believe the Shock's not biting. That's very anti-Shock.
He has not, because he said, I'm not a politician. I'm focused on growing the game of golf. He did add that the league was a reality, despite players such as Rory McIlroy declaring it dead in the water. We are here for the long term. We aren't just in and out. And then what I didn't like was that he still remained mysterious about stuff and not just transparent. He said, there are contracts, but I'm not going to give out any names on that. So this whole thing, he later said that invitations would be going out shortly. We're not asking the PGA Tour players to play one tour or the other. They have a choice to go play both. He addressed Phil too, which we can talk about. But I don't like that it's like, it's just got a lot of bad juju around it with the whole being backed like by this regime that's clearly the headliner.
So he has to answer that.
Also, like, not answering questions about like, okay, who's in it? Like, and he's just not answering.
So if we say,
why are you being quiet? Why can't you just say it?
Are we allowed to say where's the money coming from? Is that like an out of pocket question? Like do we ask that to the PGA Tour where their money comes from? You know what I mean? Like is he allowed to say I don't fucking know? Or does he have to answer like, yeah, it comes from these like regime guys that like clearly like
he's not going to say that.
Right.
But I don't know what he's going to say. He'll say...
But I'm trying to think, like, are you allowed to really ask anyone that question? Like, are we allowed to ask, like, fucking JP Morgan Chase, like, where's your money all come from? Like, you know what I mean?
Think
like,
so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially on, like, that big of a level, something that's going to be, like, public, right?
Okay.
Like this league that's going to address a big...
So then we have to press this guy on it, and he has to answer. If he's going to say, oh, I'm not getting into politics, we're going to be like, what does that even mean? Like, what do you mean you're not getting into politics? Like...
You are getting into politics.
You are getting into politics, like...
I just want to make sure that we're confident that we can do that.
We'll see. I mean, after this podcast comes out, they might not want to do it because we're actively talking about how we might want to like press them. But
we're giving them our game plan.
But
we're basically showing them our playbook.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? Like he's got to answer these questions at some point. If we're the podcast to get him out of it, we're the podcast to get him out. I don't know. I would love to do that. I'd love to press him.
Okay.
Get a little emotional on him. Be like,
okay.
Dude, like people are dying over there. Do you care? Do you care about anything?
Yeah. No,
yeah. Phil Mickelson said like they like execute gay people. Do you care about that?
So on Phil,
like
just see what he says to that.
Yeah, he would be like, yeah, I care. I don't know. What's he gonna say?
What if he just says?
He's like, no, I don't.
If he just says, I'm not a politician.
The worst person ever, dude. What are you doing?
What are you doing? No, I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. I saw Eamon had a scathing couple.
Dude, we should almost bring Eamon on. Has he interviewed Greg Norman? Or
Not recently, I
bro,
don't
we
think.
should just pop him on mid fucking interview.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh,
I would
man.
love to do that.
Start playing the Jaws music.
Speaking of Phil, Greg Norman said on the Phil situation, he made a mistake. He said he'd recently talked to Phil Mickelson. Phil's entitled to his opinion, right? At the end of the day, I feel sad for Phil. I think he hurt himself. I think he hurt the game of golf. I've been reading the comments, off the record, on the record. Who knows? But they're out there. I look into the future. I don't look into the past. We've dealt with those issues. We've understood those issues. I've spoken to Phil as recently as 2 days ago. You move on. You move forward. Everybody on this planet, not one person who hasn't said something they'd wish they had never said. We had a very open conversation. You always will have an open door to the game of golf, I told Phil.
It's a good answer. Whenever you say, like, you know, everyone's made a mistake before, it's like, you're obviously like, okay, I get that. Like, you kind of humanized Phil a little bit, but
Yeah.
Phil definitely has gotten absolutely fucked with everything that's happened. Like, because of what he said, it's super bad. But yeah, I mean, fuck, I do think the Shark's already doing it. He's already like tiptoeing around the questions, like right now, just with that answer.
He's tiptoeing. He's a smart guy. He's
a
older than
smart
we are.
guy.
He's more experienced. Been through it quite a bit. He's been trying to do something like this for like 30 or 40 years.
Fuck.
You know, the Shark's not going to come in and we say to him like, hey, you know, they do horrible things over there. He's going to be like floored and like, whoa.
I
You
know,
I
he
think
knows.
He knows. He's the Shark.
Well, at least if we press him and we keep going, then at least everyone knows, like, this was our game plan the whole time. We're talking about it right now. We know that that's how we would go into that interview. If it ever happens, we're going to press him. If he doesn't answer it, then he doesn't answer it. It's not our fault if he doesn't answer.
Are we just allowing a platform for him to kind of fluff up his own, you know, shitty backed golf league? It's like that's all
we
he's
are
doing.
in control of it. Like, if we feel that that's all it is, I think we could listen. It's gonna be one of the more. It'd have to be one of the more awkward interviews we've ever done.
It'll be
because
the
we're
most.
gonna have-
We've almost never done a contentious.
You'd have to be contentious. Like, if it's at any point fluff piece, you'd have to call him out and be like, "This is a fluff piece. Like,
Yeah,
why
the
are you
only-
not answering any of the questions?"
Like we had Shackelford on and he just turtled and we just buried him the whole time.
Yeah.
So that was like the only thing that could have been contentious and he just I don't even know what he complained about the PGA
But
Tour.
see, like, that was a huge victory for us. If we got a
Huge.
victory over Greg Norman right now, I think we'd like get like a Presidential Medal of Freedom or something.
Yeah, we're like representing America against bad regimes around the
Yeah.
world.
If we win that battle, it'd be insane.
If we lose it, we just cut it. No, put it on the
exactly.
show. All right, so we might have the Shark on soon.
Maybe.
That could be coming. But yeah, he's been making the rounds. There's this 8 events that they're going to have. There was I believe Pumpkin Ridge is the course in the Pacific Northwest, private track they're having that the members then got to notice that like their dues are going up because they got to really work hard to get the conditions of the course up. So there's a lot of, you know, stuff, drama, issues going on around this league. But they're going to have 8 events. The first one's going to be in London, and then they come to the States for quite a few, and they're kind of hitting a few of the markets in the United States that don't have PGA Tour stops. So we'll see. We'll see who ends up playing it. That's really going to be the big thing. You have to think that the names are going to get announced soon, right?
Yeah.
You can't just keep going without any names.
Yeah, you
mean-
can't go with no names, and I'm
They're
really,
playing in like a couple months. Like,
yeah, really excited to see like if there's like 1 or 2 where there's going to be a couple shockers. I think
has to be.
there has to be because they're very confident that like this thing is off and running and that there are people with contracts and all that stuff. So it is exciting to at least have some information come out.
You think there's any chance Tiger Woods plays the Masters?
No.
We'll get to that in a second. First, we got to get to Shopify. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources once reserved for big business, so upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online, in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. We spoke about that at the very beginning, how different, how small this entire operation was. Now we run a pretty legitimate business. Shopify has been great. Merchandise, everything that we sell is a huge part of our business. It's more than just a store. Shopify grows with you. This is Possibility powered by Shopify, and you can go to shopify.com/4, all lowercase, for a free 14-day trial and get access to Shopify's entire suite of features. I like that term, suite of features.
Suite of features.
Yeah, like a suite of features. Just all kinds of features bundled together in a suite.
Never knew suite could be used like in a term that's not like.
You don't see it all the time, but I do like when people say it. Like a nice, you know, like Microsoft would sell like a nice suite of, you know, features.
If you walk into a pizza shop, do they have a suite of pizzas
I think
in the
that's
display?
feels like it's more for like software-y technical stuff
Okay.
than it is for tangible pizza pies.
Okay.
but I don't know for sure. Shopify.com/Fore. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to Shopify.com/Fore right now. You can get a free 14-day trial. Get a full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Tiger Woods. So yeah, I just had this chat with a few friends this past weekend. There's been no buzz about Tiger practicing or anything. So it feels like Tiger's a very much like a where there's smoke, there's fire guy. And I haven't seen any smoke yet about him gearing up, preparing for the Masters. You know, usually like this time, maybe his jet would be spotted at the Augusta private airport or something of that nature, and just nothing.
I got to try and find, I think it was like TW Spot. I got to see. There was like all this news about someone from the inside. I think it was on Twitter.
And I think it was based on like a People magazine article or something where they were close to a source that's close to Tiger and said he's gearing up. His goal was to play the 2023 Masters, which I'm fine with.
But like the way that this quote unquote source like portrayed Tiger's game right now was like he will be back better than ever, ready to dominate the game of golf. Like he's not done winning one more. He's like not stopping until he becomes like the oldest major winner of all time, and like also like wins all the majors he can possibly win. He thinks he has so many more at Augusta, all this stuff. Like it got me so jacked up. But like again, I don't want to have to apologize to these Tiger Wood Legion people and TW Spot accounts, but like how fucking credible are these people?
It came off like it was like Nota Begay meets foreplay is how positive it was about Tiger Woods. So when I read those two, that seemed a little bit fishy.
It makes me think like TW Spot or Tiger Woods Legion is just like trying to speak things into existence because they're such big Tiger guys that like they're now creating news so that we all just get excited about Tiger so that they can be excited about Tiger.
Yeah, I think they definitely do that. Which
feels like I have another apology coming up because like that like everything they're saying is probably true and like I'm doubting them.
They take this stuff too pretty personally.
Very personally.
So you've had to do one public apology to them.
Yeah.
You'd be down to do two. I feel like if it warrants it. But yeah, they're putting out reports, and I think it was based again on this like People. I think it was People.com or somewhere around there that posted this article that then TW Spot was sort of de-zuckering a lot of the quotes and putting them out there. But I don't think he plays Masters. I don't know that he plays a major this entire year.
I mean, I'm still holding out hope, like maybe 10% that St. Andrews he does.
My only issue is the weather.
Yeah.
If St. Andrews was...
I could see him getting out there like a month early and just like acclimating himself with like getting a house and like all of his prep and like making sure his therapy is going well and like he's practicing out there for a month. Like
there's footage of him like a month before the Open walking through the town of Sanders with like a coffee.
Oh, exactly.
Okay.
Just making himself one with the town. Dude, that to me is so much more realistic than him playing at the Masters. It's crazy. I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, me too. I do think he might, like I could see him playing the par 3 at the Masters, but not playing the actual tournament.
That's a dick tease though. I don't want that.
I don't want
Tiger Woods striking golf balls at Augusta unless he's trying to win a green jacket.
Yeah. That's true. Like, give me all or nothing.
Skipping balls across the water and then he just doesn't play on Thursday. What are you, nuts?
Can't have that.
I can't have that shit.
What are you, nuts?
Are guys finishing the Barstool Classic right now?
I think they're wrapping up right now. It's been about...
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's been about 5 hours, which is usually what it takes in these type of format, this tournament. So I think people are kind of wrapping up. We're going to have this putting contest going down here. We've had, 4 makes or something like that?
Yeah, you
people
got 4
can win
guys.
$500 if they win the putting contest and a customized TaylorMade Spider putter, which is what we were just talking about doing. So we got the big putting contest coming up. But yeah, Tiger Woods, haven't heard anything, just kind of speculating, talking, trying to respond and see what we get. And maybe on a show very soon, we will have Greg Norman. That'll be exciting.
Yep, a couple things to look forward to.
All right, from the gallery, we're going to go through a couple of these. Matt says, big fan from Australia since episode 1. In the wake of Phil's self-detonation of his image and the talk of the white whales on your guys' skits for the podcast, where does Phil now sit on your list of guests to get? I would say even higher.
Yeah, I mean, it's as high
and
as
way less likely now that we ever get him.
Super less likely unless he continuously just keeps getting canceled and like we're his only option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when we kind of we were the PGA Tour rehab for a while.
Exactly.
We were doing Patrick Reed videos. We had Bubba Watson on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that there's almost no chance he comes on our show now, but I think that he has elevated himself to, there was before, yes, Phil was always up there. He's Phil fucking Mickelson. And Phil's kind of famous with the storytelling and how good he is with media and how he loves to kind of be calculated and understand what's going to play in different forums. And he came up to us and thanked us for all we do for the game of golf. So he gets it. But I still, it was probably Rory was like ahead of him. Spieth was ahead of him. Now I think Phil has vaulted himself to number 2.
Yes.
Right?
yes.
I mean,
yes.
he's
Vaulted.
There's no way that you can't say he is the most desired. If we dropped tomorrow, like we have an hour interview with Phil Mickelson on the Foreplay podcast, I don't think we could drop a bigger guest.
No,
in the world.
And no matter, and
If we had Joe Biden on, I don't think it would be. I think people would be like, whatever. If we had Phil Mickelson on, it'd be must listen.
I think at the end of the day, too, like no matter what, we're gonna take you, Phil. So if if this gets back to you, like we'll always give you the platform,
always,
and always give you the chance to like kind of like right your wrongs or get your stuff out.
I mean,
there.
Putin might be the only guy that would be.
It's probably Putin and Phil Mickelson right now, 1 and 2.
Yes,
Hezbollah, Kim Jong Un. It's tough that Phil's found himself in that category, but
not
like
good company.
No, it's not the best company of all time. At the end of the day, like they just put asses in the seats, whether it be for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. They are getting clicks, they're getting views, they're getting engagement, and we're in the engagement game.
What if we dropped a podcast of Vladimir Putin? Just a golf podcast.
That's just the way things are going for us right now, I think like that might even I could see that happening, right? It's just like 1 week we have fucking Rory McIlroy playing golf with us, the next week we have a golf interview with Putin, and the whole world shits on us for not pressing him on the war in Ukraine. We're just asking him about his like golf game.
It's just like what kind of clubs you use.
Wow. We have a gun to our head if we ask him anything aside from golf.
Yeah, Phil's definitely up there, and he's only gotten higher since this entire thing happened. Bernie says, so my go-to golfing partner usually played 2 rounds a week together, has recently gotten into a relationship, has started bringing his girlfriend to the course anytime we don't have a full foursome. She doesn't play, she just rides along. She's a cool girl and all, but it makes me the third wheel riding alone in the cart, not as much talking through the shots, etc. I miss the days when we would just go play around together. Any tips on how to bring this up without seeming like the bad guy?
So how is he becoming a third? Wait.
So essentially, whenever they don't have a full foursome, he brings the girlfriend rides along, doesn't really play, and clearly they're sort of spending a lot of time together, so this guy doesn't get the funny little dad golf joke time.
Gotcha.
He's cut down on that time interaction with his buddy.
Gotcha.
He's basically saying he just has a better experience when the guy's girlfriend.
100%, dude. There's a time and place for if your girlfriend doesn't play golf, like you don't have to bring her to the golf course. It's as simple as that. The golf course is for playing golf and having fun. It's not a social experiment to like just come in and hang. Like it's one thing if you like live on a golf course or it's like your hometown club and like she like wants to come out and like play around or just like hit a couple shots or at least just like hang with the boys and like have a couple drinks. That's no problem. But like if it's happening every single time and you're like going to a public golf course, you're like buying a tee time for her just to like sit in the car. It's insane. You're taking up like boy time right there. That's insane.
So I wonder how can this guy address it without being like the bad guy?
I think at some point you just like say
Is it a phone call? Do you schedule a phone call with your friend, or do you not schedule, but do you like, hey, like because that always establishes that this is different than
I've
you
never
and I
had
just
the problem with my friends of just like saying it how it is. I always every time we get one of these messages, like how do I tell my buddy to like stop like talking to my backswing? Like, dude, like I said it about my buddy Kyle on this podcast to like 500,000 people. I was like, dude, Kyle, every time I fucking swing, and I said that the week he started doing it. I was like, every time I swing, he fucking jingles his bag. He picks it up. Every time I pull my backswing back. I think you just tell him. Just fucking tell him. What the hell is this guy going to do? What, is he going to get mad? Was he a child?
Do you think he's worried that this guy clearly has such a close relationship with this girl that he'll tell the girl and then the girl's going to like hate him?
Who gives a fuck, dude? Oh, the girl that comes to the golf course and doesn't play and just sits in the cart and just watches her boyfriend play and probably like hates everyone else on the golf course. She's gonna be mad at me tomorrow. Why does my back itch so much?
Yeah,
I'm like scratching it on this fucking.
You've been doing that for a little while now.
Yeah, I'm doing like the bear scratch up against the wood.
And the thing would be the exact same if it were the other way around. If it was like a girls group, there were 2 or 3 girls, and one of the girls just instead of hanging and being part of the jokes and in the mix and not as into the match, just started bringing her boyfriend along who doesn't play golf in the cart.
Are you nuts?
It would be the other woman or other 2 women would be like, you're fucking, this is girl time. This is like, we're having these fucking Saturday
boyfriend
golf.
around.
Like, what are you doing?
We're going for wine.
We'll meet him
and,
for
cheese.
Right.
Like, why are you
we'll do
bringing
that later.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Stay home and play video games for 2 hours. You can't just like you guys can't be away from each other for 3 hours.
I do agree with you though. Why can't people just tell their friends that? Why can't this guy just call and be like,
Dude,
hey,
we get so many DMs.
don't bring the fucking girlfriend. We're trying to play golf.
We get so many submissions of like, how am I supposed to tell my buddy this? Like, you just tell him. Are there relationships out there amongst friends where they're so like strange and weird that like if you say the wrong thing, you lose the friend forever? That's insane. The things I've said about my buddy Rob on this show. I mean, if
Does Rob like our show, or does he get
I think
like?
so. He's a big fan.
Does he get like PTSD from
Dude,
what we say?
well,
on
I
the
mean,
show?
everything we say is just true about him. Like he knows it. It's not. He's never laughed at
I hope
work.
Rob's having a great day today.
Yeah, I
Does he
hope-
listen in the office or no? Can he not?
I don't think. No, I don't think he's allowed to listen to anything. I think it's just like.
Dead silent in there.
Yeah, it's like
With
data,
cameras
it's like
everywhere?
data noises, like doot, 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 doot. Just as criminal as you can possibly get.
I agree. Just talk to your buddy, call him, figure it out. It really can't be that hard. Bryce says, just wanted to say I love the pod, obviously. Thank you, Bryce. Could or would Foreplay ever sponsor a golfer? Having a Foreplay or Barstool branded golfer would be epic, plus the merch would be unreal. I will say for a while, we didn't really consider this because I didn't think it made a ton of sense. We're starting to now consider this. I think that we might try to do some one-offs where we do like special hat or something one week for one of our guys at a big tournament at the Waste Management or something of that nature. But I do think we have so much merchandise too that I think we've started to consider, what if we just had a fully apparel Barstool Golf Foreplay apparel deal with a PGA Tour player.
Yeah.
Everything they wore was our merchandise. So it might be Peter Millar, it might be Unreal, it might be Champion hoodie. Like, it's just all the shit that we make.
I'd almost, I mean, obviously, if you got one of the big guys, it'd be nuts. It'd be super expensive. So, like, I wonder, like, if the money and, like, numbers work out, like, in our favor. Because, like, things are already going well without having to do that with those guys.
True.
But, like, how fun would it be to find an up-and-coming guy, like, that's our guy, that you grab, like, you know he's going to, like, make a move. And, like, that, to me, would be really fun.
Like
where
a
it's
Doug
like,
Gim, if we went after, like,
exactly.
a Doug Gim or
And, like,
something.
one day he's in the top 10 because he's got that ability. He's obviously shown. Like, if we got Doug Gim, it'd be electric if he's walking around, like, at the Players next year.
And he's
like,
in the top
the
five,
top
coming down the
five
stretch,
wearing
he's
a
got our
fucking
stuff on.
Barstool, like, golf, like, beanie on. It's just like, what is this fucking guy?
But if it was everything, if it was like
Yeah,
Barstool
exactly.
Golf polo, Barstool
Yeah.
Golf hoodie, Barstool
belt.
Golf hat, like, yeah, that'd be
the
unbelievable.
bag would be Barstool.
I mean, it's just the whole deal.
yeah. Yeah. it'd be
Shoes, we got
legit.
shoes coming out. I mean, if it was...
I mean, for any player, like, if you're a lower tier player and you haven't, like, signed those big deals yet, like, that's how you become. You want to talk about, like, getting on social media and, like, people talking and chirping, like, that would get people buzzing.
Oh my God! You know what? Every day at their tournament too, practice rounds, regular rounds, everyone would tweet pictures at us of them, just wearing our stuff.
It was like when we had we've had a couple of cars in NASCAR races. It was a one bite car. It was like All Right Frankie on the door, and then there was a Barstool Sports car in NASCAR. Every time that thing fucking ran, people went absolutely crazy for them.
Yeah, they go nuts.
Like, they went nuts. Like, when it was in the garage, when it was here, when it was there, it was nuts.
They would become such a popular player.
Yeah,
Overnight, they would become an extremely popular player.
100%.
So yeah, we've definitely considered it. We looked into Dave and I think this is before you were involved, Frankie, but this like 3 years ago or something. There was a time when Jason Duffner didn't have a hat deal.
Yeah.
And he was wearing, I remember one week he wore like literally like Cavaliers hat when they were playing at like Muirfield, and he was just wearing a different hat each week doing one-off deals.
Yeah.
And we talked to his agent about like what it costs and what it looks like, and we, if anything, Dave was like, we don't really pay, like Barstool doesn't really pay for marketing.
No.
Right? Like, we do our own marketing. That's what we do. Occasionally we've done the NASCAR deal and we've done some little one-off stuff, but generally Barstool relies on itself to market itself. So like paying some golfer $100,000 or $1 million, whatever it might be, which just wouldn't seem to make sense economically. But now that we have so many merchandise items, because I mean, at first we had a fucking Nike Barstool Golf polo. That was like the only thing that we had.
Yeah.
But now somebody could legitimately wear our entire line.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they have dozens of things they could wear every day.
It's insane.
And we keep coming out with more. So it's definitely, it's something that people might see out there. Notion. With hybrid work becoming the norm, that is true. We're doing hybrid work right now. We're outside at a golf tournament,
Yep.
doing a podcast,
Yep.
and filming videos.
My fiance's aunt and uncle were like here to say hi, and then I think they just left because we've been doing the pod for too long. They were kind of just standing here watching us, and it
I
was
was
like
wondering who that was. You were waving at people.
it was just like one of those things where it was like, oh, all right, he's probably doing something really quick, and like an hour's gone by where I've just been staring at them.
You just
and,
haven't
like,
moved.
and they just like kind of just left. I just watched them just walk back to the car, and they just, yeah, they just live down here, and like I guess they were coming to see it, and like I just didn't say anything to them. They're just gone.
The strongest teams have two things in common: speed and alignment. Both come from having one hub where everyone can share their work and processes, manage projects, and collaborate with clarity. Notion provides one central and customizable workspace that brings all teams together to get more done and move faster. Notion is all-in-one team collaboration tool, combines note-taking, document sharing, wikis, project management, and much more into one space that's simple and powerful. Notion's awesome. Plus, Notion has a worldwide network of millions of users creating templates, tutorials, and new inspiration. The product is getting better all of the time. You can learn more and get started for free at notion.so. You can check it out on your own and invite as many folks as you want to see how it works. Take the first step toward an organized, happy team today. Again, at notion.so. That's how you're going to have a good, happy team. Notion.so. Go check them out. A couple more from the galleries, and then you can go say hi to your
I
family.
think they left, so it's okay. They just ran away.
Connor says, we've all seen how detrimental flag sticks can be for tour players. They throw a dart that ends up catching a flag stick and leaving them with a much worse shot. What if golf had something similar to bat boys in baseball or the tennis ball boys, where someone is prepared to grab the flag stick upon a player's swing impact and run off the green before the ball lands?
It'd be chaos.
I love it.
I love it, but like also it'd like hit. You'd have these little chubby flag stick boys running out there.
Why
like
they gotta
they're
be chubby? Where'd that
I
come
don't know.
from?
I'm just picturing like a bunch of Glenny Balls is running out there and
Okay.
grabbing the fucking flag stick and then it hitting their belly and falling into the hole. And there being a lot of like controversy
Yeah, a lot
over
of
like
controversy.
where it hit, how it hit them, where it bounced.
It's also the timing would be really difficult.
There's
I mean,
a
where
lot
are they
of
going to stand in the bunker?
I,
They're just near the green.
my brain isn't working as much as it should be, but I can probably think of 1,000 more things that we need to fix in golf than having to grab the flag sticks before
Fairway
they hit the ground.
divot rule, for example.
Fairway divot rule
The fact
right
that
now.
like a tournament, like who was it? Paul Casey last week at the Players Championship. That like he probably lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because his ball off the 16th
Was
tee
just
was
in a
just
divot.
in a brutal pitch mark divot.
Fuck, man. Yeah, they need to fix that.
This guy wants ball boys that run
He
across
wa-
the green.
I
I do love it, but it's because
the-
like I love it because of how ridiculous it
I mean,
is.
how often does that happen? Once every tournament?
Probably
If
cost
that?
Tiger Woods the Masters in 2013.
Yeah, it's true.
Remember that fucking ball hit the thing,
It's
went, and then
true.
he took a legal drop. He got a 4-shot penalty.
It's true.
I think he lost.
I
by
don't know
4.
that a ball boy. I don't know that a pin boy would have helped that.
There's not time.
How the hell are you supposed to know? If it's
Tiger's
gonna hit
wedges in the air
pin?
for like 3 seconds,
It's crazy.
and then it hits. And what if he runs out to move the flag and it just hits him, like you're saying?
Right. Also, like they'd have to be so dialed in on like if the pin needs to stay in or not. Like, what if like it's coming in with like a little bit of heat and like hitting the pin would like slows it down. Like, we're gonna trust these guys with judgment calls now. It's nuts. I hate this idea.
I like it just because it's so chaotic. But yeah, it's not reasonable. Simon says.
It's like the game.
Simon says,
Jesus.
I got a vacation golf question for you. Me and my ex have been talking again recently. We spontaneously booked a week vacation in Costa Rica with her friend and her boyfriend. My question is, do you think I could bring my clubs to play a round or two without consequences? Somebody came rolling in here with all kinds of music. Might have to get them to shut that off fast. Long story short here from Simon, he says, since me and this girl have history, do you think I should be putting in time towards my girl so she won't be pissed? Or can I get away with sneaking away and playing golf? Look, if you're going on a vacation or a trip with your significant other and you're panicked that you're going to not be able to get through your relationship, if you can't go do what you want to do and play golf, then it's the wrong relationship, pal.
Yep. It's the
That's
wrong
simple.
relationship. It sounds very unhealthy.
You got to be able to say, look, I'm going to go play golf for 4.5 hours. I might get paired up with a total stranger. We're going to have a couple Trulies, a couple cigars. We're going to have a great time. And if she is like, what the hell are you talking about? Then I think you need to find something different.
Yeah, just go play golf and see what happens.
That's the old ask for forgiveness, not for
Go play
permission.
golf and see what happens. If it like turns into an absolute shit show, then you should be like, I'm out of here, dude. I'm out of here.
What do you think we're expecting of this Pirates Voyager thing tonight?
I'm very excited. We got to get this putting contest dialed in. We got to go do this commercial real quick
You want
right
another
after
commercial?
here. We're doing another commercial.
We're just in commercials all the time now. This will be our third one, I think. Third
yeah.
commercial. Cart Boys one was a hit.
Cart Boys one was a fucking massive hit.
Smash
One of
hit.
the funniest things I've ever seen. We're doing one today, and then we are going to Pirates Voyage. It's a Dolly Parton restaurant. I don't even know what that means. Are they going to sing "Working 9 to 5" by Dolly Parton at
Yeah,
the
I
Pirates
think they
Voyage?
call it a Dolly Parton experience.
I don't know how that meshes with Pirates Voyage, but it somehow does, so I'm very looking forward to that. I heard there's seals involved, and people jump from very high distances into little buckets of water, and we're gonna eat fucking big chicken legs like we're at medieval times, and it's gonna be, we have VIP tickets. I think the tickets are like $80 a
This is
pop.
all going on while we're just fucking eating dinner.
We're eating dinner. I heard you don't go for the dinner, you go for the show. Okay. I told multiple people at this event that I'm going there, and they're like, no way. They're like, that place is fucking fantastic.
I'm quite excited. I think it's going to be a hell of an experience. So on Thursday's show, which we'll probably record on Wednesday, we'll have Trent and Lurch back, and we'll be able to break down our experience from the Pirates Voyager, a Dolly Parton experience. I think that's all I got. We're here at the Classic. We got to fire up this putting contest, get this thing going. People are clearly vibing. They're looking for the boys to kind of jump in the mix. So we're gonna get it going.
We got through a twosome here.
We'll twosome.
How long did we go there for? Hour 20. It's not bad.
Just us sitting here chopping
Knocked
it
it out.
That was fun. I enjoyed it. Hope everybody enjoyed it listening. We got a match play this weekend, which we'll get into, I guess, on Thursday's show, but this is kind of the Kisner special. He's won this tournament. He lost in the final. Last year, he had another good showing for a while, so I expect a lot out of Kiz. We got match play, so it's a unique thing. They got the bracket and the whole, with the March Madness going on and the bracket and the match play and the whole fucking thing. So this is a great week. Austin Country Club's always cool to watch, but we'll get a little bit more into that because we got to go do this putting contest. So that's all I got. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.